Hello everyone. Today I want to tell you guys a story that has been kind of in the works for 12 years, but I just haven't really done anything about it. I've played Minecraft for around 12 years, but I never killed the Ender Dragon in a survival world, not once. So this time I've decided to create a world, a forever world, in fact, a place where I would finally face her. I wasn't fully sure until I had made the world and all the things that I'd already seen. Like, I wasn't rushing, I wasn't speedrunning, I was just existing and taking every moment in. But the way that it went, it kinda just gave me this feeling that I was finally ready to do it. Like, I spawned in with wood, stone, and iron right next to me. The moment I got iron tools, I threw my stone ones away like they insulted me personally. I wasn't speedrunning, I just refuse to use stone tools longer than I have to, and that's been the case in every single world. But the fact that I got iron tools so early on also meant that I would be able to get a bed early on, so I would just sleep through every single night as usual, because that's also kind of my thing. Like, I'm not gonna fight mobs if I don't have to, so I'll just sleep every single night and not let any mob spawn. And as you will come to see, I spawn next to a village, as well as next to iron, stone, and wood. So I basically had everything I needed right where I spawned. It was like the perfect world for like some form of speedrunning, but I wasn't speedrunning, I was just enjoying myself. And then it was time to leave behind my comfortable hobbit hole and head towards the village. Once I made it to the village, I looted what I could and I did what every responsible player does. Immediately trapping every villager and forcing them into extremely questionable breeding conditions. But before that, I obviously had to collect all the beds and make sure that they would actually go into the breeder. In the end, I still had to kill like 2 villagers because they just refused to go into the breeder. I was just like, whatever, they can die. And then one thing led to another, and soon I ended up building an iron farm on top of the breeder. But before that, I had to go get lava, so I wouldn't have to manually kill all the iron golems, because like, durability is a real thing, and I didn't have mending yet. Let's say peak efficiency and peak moral ambiguity. It wasn't efficient either. Like, I thought it would be very efficient, but I ended up having to put literal mountains of buttons around so that iron golems wouldn't spawn outside of the box. And then I realized I built the entire thing wrong. Like, the iron golems ended up getting stuck and not going into the lava. And once I had my kind of horrible villager breeder and the worst iron farm I've ever built, I decided to explore a bit, and I found a skeleton spawner. I usually don't do anything with skeleton spawners, but this time I was like, why not turn this into like kind of an okay like farm? Because like, I'm sure I'll be needing like bones and XP in the future, and like free arrows? It was kind of like a done deal. And a little bit of foreshadowing for a future project of mine. I need as many bones as I can humanly get, albeit not as much bones as I'll need the white dye from the bones. And like, me finding the skeleton spawner kind of just felt like the universe saying like, go on, keep going, you'll do this. And like, after that I went back and I fixed up the breeder a bit, and like, I also added an underground section where I would be getting geared up and trading with all the villagers. And I actually made a proper trading hall, and I actually made a pumpkin farm as well. But I still prefer using sticks over pumpkins. But it was a nice additional income for like emeralds and stuff. But it wasn't that useful. Like, it was too slow for my liking, and I would just have to AFK, which I don't really like to AFK. I like being very hands-on and constantly doing things. And I also realized that pumpkins don't grow if it doesn't have dirt next to it. Because apparently pumpkins can only spawn on dirt. I actually had to Google that. And then I still used the upstairs section that had villagers in it, because I already had like maxed out Fletchers there and the armor villager, which is where I got diamond armor from and everything else. Now, of course, I did not end up moving all of those villagers downstairs. I just ended up making a hall downstairs, and whatever dropped down from the actual breeder I used, and like later on when I no longer needed the upstairs villager, I just slaughtered them all, and that was that. Eventually, I still ended up working on the pumpkin farm a bit and expanding it quite a bit, but it wasn't enough. Then I met a cat, and I named her after my childhood cat, Apple. She's still alive, very much alive and kicking. But I just wanted to have a little piece of home, a little piece of my childhood, and I also wanted to share her with you guys. And now to the finished version of my totally ethical villager trading hall. And now it was time to go to the Nether. The bane of my existence, if you will. I needed blaze rods and ender pearls, and that was like the easiest way to get them. But my troubles didn't really end at entering the Nether. I had to travel to the fortress. It was really far away. I did not enjoy the trip. 100% do not recommend. And then, while gathering pearls, I realized that Endermen do quite a bit of damage. Cause like, I tend to avoid getting damaged by them by just like staying out of reach. But they do too much damage almost. I don't like it, okay? And it also took forever to get all the pearls I needed. Just so you know, I got 3 stacks of pearls. And I did have a looting 3 sword. But it took forever, okay? And then I was finally ready to go to the end. You know what I did instead though? I looked at all my fancy equipment and figured I don't have a starter base. So for some reason I decided to take down an entire village. The village that we spawned next to, in fact. I don't know why I did it. I figured the materials could be useful in the future. Maybe. I actually genuinely have no idea what was in my brain, because I was not going to build my base there. So yeah, that's what I did. So then I ended up terraforming a hill and building my house on top of it, because at that point I still didn't have a house. I had all the gear, everything I needed to go to the end to beat the dragon, but I didn't have a house, so I built one. Yippee! Now this, by far, is not my proudest work, but it kind of fits with the theme of, so you better like the tower that I built, otherwise it's going to haunt you in your dreams, okay? Be aware of that fact. You made it this far into the video, so you must suffer with me. Okay? Understood? Great. Now, enjoy the time lapse that I made. This house actually took me like 2 hours to build, which it isn't long in the grand scheme of things, but it's kind of funky. And once the house was built, it was time for travel. Yay. I was kind of scared, but at the same time, not really. Like, the travel itself, it wasn't really scary, but I just wasn't sure if I was fully ready yet. Mentally, I mean. Ready for what, you might ask? To see the sights that I did that really put me in my feels. Like, I saw swamps, I saw hills, I saw plains, I saw a massive mountain, and then I had to travel the ocean, and like, I actually had to travel to finally get to the stronghold. And this whole time, while I was completely in love with the scenery and looking at everything, I kind of started seeing the wonder in things. And I started already imagining what could happen next. Like, what if I transformed the giant mountain? What if I made a giant ocean base? And a bunch of what ifs later, I decided that I could probably do it all if I just set my mind to it. But I still had to travel the ocean. I still had to make the annoying trek by boat. And I still had to make it to the stronghold. But that took a while. And once in the stronghold, I just chilled there for a bit because, like, I was already starting to overthink it, and I was just like, you know what? You just need to place the eyes into the portal, and you need to step in there, okay? Just step in there already. So I did. It was terrifying, but I did it. And then, once in the end, I was petrified. But I bridged over that gap between the end island and the obsidian platform. And I started taking care of the crystals. And by now, I've played Minecraft for around 12 years. But I haven't killed Ender Dragon in survival before. And at first, I didn't have the knowledge. Then, when I had the knowledge, I didn't have the patience. And when I had both the knowledge and patience, it had already been years since I started playing. So I felt that killing the Ender Dragon had to be a special occasion for me. For too long I was scared that I'd mess up the story somehow to make it less special. I've avoided the end fight on many servers by just waiting for other people to beat the dragon for me. And even if I was asked to join a big end fight, I always said no. It wasn't special enough for me. I didn't feel I was ready to make that video, because I didn't want it to be a battle between players. I didn't want it to be something chaotic. I wanted this to be a moment shared by just me and the ones watching this video. So I made a survival world, a forever world, and I thought, what would make this world different from the rest? The fact that I will beat her this time? Hold on. Am I thinking I'm ready for that change? Might be. And after all this time, I always kept this fight in my heart, waiting for the moment I would feel ready. And this time, I think I'm finally ready. This marks an era of change for me, but what kind of change? I don't know. But I always knew that if I made this happen, it would be for a good reason and that I would be way too overprepared. In the end, I didn't refuse to fight and kill the dragon because I was scared. No, I refused because it would have changed something for me in a big way, and I was terrified of change. And during the fight, I realized that the Ender Dragon wasn't just a dragon to me, to kill. For me, she was the representation of my fears and anxieties about the future, refusing to let go of my old and comfortable ways by refusing to kill her. And I've made a lot of memories on this game, and it's been really special. I've made a lot of friends through this game, and I've met a lot of people with the same passions, and I don't think I would have gotten to the point I am now with being willing to actually kill the dragon, or slay my fears, if you will, if they hadn't been there. And if you know me personally and are my friend, even though we didn't really talk about this with most of you, I still want you guys to know that I do really appreciate you guys, and you are the reason that I'm making this video, and hopefully I'll continue making videos, because I'm having fun. And from now on, I will no longer limit myself, okay? That's a promise. And I intend to keep it, because promises are important to me. And in the end, I wasn't happy that I killed her, but I wasn't sad either. It was this quiet excitement building up and a voice in my mind saying, what's next? But at the same time, I felt that there was a feeling that I was stepping into a different world now, into the unknown in my own way. In the end, the moment of killing her was special. Far more special than I thought it would be, because it taught me something even bigger. That sometimes you truly need to let go to be able to move forward in more than just one way. And it's a beautiful yet unexpected lesson, and I wasn't expecting a game to teach it to me, but after 12 years, I had finally learned and done it. In a way, I felt free. And then I got the dragon egg as kind of a proof that I did it. And I actually kind of teared up when I held it, which is crazy. And as I sat through the end credits and sat there for a while after the credits, I felt new ideas striking me all at once. And I began writing them down. A whole new world was open to me now that I was no longer limiting myself. And what's next then, you might ask? All I'll say is, you'll have to wait and see, because it'll be something special. Somehow the trip home was shorter. It didn't feel as long as the trip to the stronghold, which has its own meaning in a way, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it. I'm not that smart about things, but I'm not gonna overthink this. I'm just gonna let things be and happen as they do. And once home, I placed the dragon egg on top of the tower as kind of a constant reminder that I'd done it, slayed my fears, and that things were going to be different now, from now on. And I also had gotten on Elytra, but the flashback file ended up messing things up for me, so all that I could see was void, and it did not record anything, because apparently dimensional travel does not work well with flashback sometimes. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys will come back for more videos next time. Thanks. See ya.